Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Generation Change. I'm Roya Fahmy. Today we are very honored to have as our guest Mr. John Baldino. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
We're really happy to have you. This is part 2, John and viewers, of our show on unemployment. And today's topic and specificity is the digital divide. We're going to be talking about searching for work, looking for work, finding work, and staying at work, and how we all have to stay updated with technology. Let me talk a little bit about you, John, if I might.
I never mind when people talk a little bit about me.
Thank you so much. Well, John, I like the term you use to describe yourself and your career. John is a social media strategist. He's a leading expert in digital and social media as they relate to networking, advertising, marketing, and the news media. John is a native of Carbondale, Pennsylvania, and was born and raised in northeastern PA. He spends much of his time researching and speaking on national and local trends in digital and social media. He has delivered well over 50 speeches, very impressive, on media topics around the country. John also serves as web administrator, CCD teacher, and cantor at St. Anthony and Rocco Parish in the Roman Catholic Diocese of Scranton, Pennsylvania. And in his spare time, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, of what he is an accomplished actor, director, and theater artist. Welcome, John. I'm happy to have you.
Well, thank you, Roya. It is great to be here, and you did a really nice job of in many words saying that I'm basically an online research geek.
Yeah, an online research geek, yes, and we're going to get to your statistics actually later on. So, John, we've just spent the last 2 shows talking about what I call the divide in this country regarding work. Mm-hmm. We're at an extremely high unemployment rate. In the last program, we heard from some people that attended a speech of President Obama's a few months ago, and all people of all ages, I think, and all cultures and everywhere, are highly concerned about the economy and their jobs. So I would like to explore in this show what I've continued to explore, which is, what is the divide out there when looking for work? It's not a level playing field, John. It's absolutely not. So we've had these wonderful guests that have talked about the economic divide in looking for work, the racial and cultural divide in looking for work. And now today we're going to be speaking about something called the technological divide. So for the purposes of the show, we're going to talk about the technological divide as essentially those who feel like technology is user-friendly for them. They're very comfortable online. They're comfortable with things such as LinkedIn. They're comfortable with things such as posting and changing a resume online. Comfortable with social media such as Facebook. So we're going to call that our technological culture, or technological divide. So when I was speaking with you earlier, John, we talked about 2 things in the technological or digital divide. You said really the divide is motivational and educational. You don't really see it dividing along racial, cultural, or age lines.
No, I really don't, because the digital society it's very universal.
Yeah.
When you look at statistics from ComScore, for example, you'll see really that a lot of social media websites, in fact, all social media websites that I have researched, skew higher in minorities. So there's certainly not a racial divide in the digital world.
Correct.
It tends to be more of an educational divide.
Okay.
It tends to be a motivational divide. There's also an element of fear.
Ah, yes.
Because it is human nature to fear the unknown.
Right.
So if we don't understand digital technology, we tend to fear it. How often have you heard, Facebook is evil? Facebook will get you fired from your job.
Absolutely.
Facebook will get you thrown out of college.
Right.
I've heard it. I mean, you name the setting and I've heard it.
Right.
And it always comes from somebody who doesn't understand the technology.
Right, right.
I have told people, I've done seminars for college students.
Correct.
And I have said to them, I don't care if you have a picture of you doing a beer bong in your dorm room on Facebook.
Okay.
Just privatize the content.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Once you do that, no one can access it.
Right.
I look at it this way. Everybody has at least 2 personalities.
Right.
People like us, we probably have a few more.
Yeah.
But But
being in the theater and television, yes.
but you've got that personality when you're sitting home on the couch and you're hanging out with your family and your friends.
Right.
And there are things that you would say and that you would do in that scenario that are perfectly acceptable.
Right.
But that you wouldn't do in the conference room.
Correct.
That you wouldn't do on the job interview.
Correct.
That's your other personality.
Right.
So think of Facebook as the former.
Right.
And think of LinkedIn as the latter.
Very good.
You don't want to put anything out there on LinkedIn that you wouldn't want your potential boss or coworkers to see.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty simple.
Absolutely.
And then I like to describe Twitter as kind of a bridge between the two.
Yes.
Because Twitter it's a neat way to push out little bits of information, but you can show a little personality with Twitter. You can have a little fun with Twitter. And I don't mind a Twitter feed being out there for all to see, because a potential employer can look at that and get an idea of your personality.
Right.
Because you don't really get that from LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn is basically, it's your online resume.
Correct. Correct.
And we all know that resumes do not reflect our personalities, no matter how hard we try.
No, no.
But Twitter can do that a little bit, so you can have a little more fun there.
Right.
Then when you want to have a lot of fun, Facebook and privatize it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, thank you. So, John, I'm just going to say to the camera and to our audience, college students, it is not okay to do a beer bong, and we are not promoting it.
No, absolutely not.
And I have to say that because I teach university. I have to say that to my college students as well. But
That was
yes.
a hypothetical example.
Hypothetical example, everybody. Hypothetical example. But it's interesting you should use the word fear, John, because part of the premise of the show with the producer Regina Lanzo and myself is that really we wanted to talk about race. We wanted to talk about culture. We wanted to talk about technology. We wanted to talk about the different generations, because we saw that there was a lot of fear and misinformation out there. So it seems like you and I are really talking about the same thing. So when we're talking about a digital divide, we're talking about a lot of fear.
Yeah,
So,
and what's interesting is the fear is not necessarily age-related.
correct.
You know, the first assumption would be, okay, well, the older you are, the less you understand the technology, the more afraid of it you are.
Right.
Not necessarily.
Necessarily.
I will not let somebody play the age card when it comes to digital technology. 55 plus, the fastest growing group of web users in the world right now. Why? Baby boomers
Yes.
are all now 55 plus.
Right.
They're all using it. So age isn't really a factor. It's a matter of, have you taken the time to understand the technology? It's a willingness and a motivation to understand the technology.
Right.
Or are you going to plant your feet and say, no, I won't give in to this technology because it's a passing fad? Well, I have news for you. It's not a passing fad.
No.
You mentioned President Obama earlier. Think about what he did and what then Senator Clinton did during the primary campaign of their last election.
Correct.
Almost all social media. Think of what the president has done. Whether you support him, whether you don't, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, you can't deny that he has turned the executive branch of government into a digital operation.
Yes.
He's sending text messages, he's sending tweets.
Yeah.
Whitehouse.gov has been completely overhauled.
Yeah.
And he built his own social media website, myBarackObama.com.
Absolutely.
If nothing else tells you that this is not a passing fad, when the President of the United States is building a digital society, I think we can accept, and I think we have to accept, that we are living in a digital world. So what does that mean for the job hunter?
Exactly.
How do we take that to the middle-class American?
Absolutely.
Well, it's a different way of looking for a job now. The newspaper classifieds are a thing of the past.
Yeah, not so much.
We're posting on job boards now, industry-specific job boards.
Right.
So where do you find them? Honestly, you Google them.
Yeah.
That's where you're or the trades.
Right.
You're looking in the trade publications, the online trade publications. That's where you're finding your industry-specific job boards. The other place is LinkedIn. Because what's wonderful about the technology of LinkedIn is that when you load a lot of great content about yourself, LinkedIn reads that content, understands who you are and what you do and why you do it, and feeds you job openings based upon your background. It also feeds you current articles from all over the internet based upon your background.
Excellent. Okay.
It's a great place for references.
Right.
I've told 100 people, do not put references available upon request on the bottom of your resume.
Right.
You need that space.
Yeah.
And if I'm your employer, I know
Yeah.
that references are available. And
Yeah.
if they're not, then you've got a bigger problem than what you're putting on your resume.
Right. Right.
But boy, is LinkedIn a great place for me to get a quick paragraph about somebody who thinks highly of you, and then click on their profile and see who this is all about, and see that it's not just your Uncle George
Right.
who had something nice to say,
Right.
but it's the CEO of a Fortune 500 who likes you.
Okay, okay. So really you just combined the educational divide, the motivational divide. Let's step back further before somebody gets on LinkedIn. Let's say that I'm really not sure what LinkedIn is, John. I don't know what LinkedIn is. I know what Facebook is. I'm not quite sure how to put a password in to really get on Twitter, and I'd like to join someone's Twitter account, and I'd like to have a Twitter account as well. Who do I go to? Do I go to my library? Where do I go to get help with these things?
That's a great question, and I think that continues to be a challenge.
Okay.
If you're in school, you have some resources
Absolutely.
there, which are not necessarily your career services office. Maybe they are.
Yeah.
If not, then it's your digital media department and the professors over there.
Right.
But you have some resources within your school.
Right.
If you're not in school, it becomes a bigger challenge. I recommend check out the university websites
Got it.
because they may be doing free seminars and that sort of thing.
Yes.
And I've said this 100 times too, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yes.
Reach out to your contacts. Think about the people that you know. Think about the people that you've worked for, that you've worked with, who really have a handle on this. And just like social media and social networking are really one-on-one interactivity,
Yes.
that's what learning the technology is.
Is one-on-one.
It really is one-on-one. You've got to find that key person
Right.
who can at least show you the basics of how to use the technology. Maybe not necessarily help you build a career development strategy,
Right.
but at least show you how to set up that LinkedIn profile
Right.
and how to set up the Facebook profile, and then take it a step further to build the career strategy. You can go to my website, baldinoonline.com.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Shoot me an email. I'd be happy to send you some quick ideas
Great.
about how to do this and how to hopefully be successful.
Great.
But the key is the days of the paper resume are gone. They are absolutely gone. When was the last time you mailed a resume?
I can't even remember.
You send it by email. Or you go to the company's website and you actually submit it online.
Exactly.
And on that note, just a tip that I offer to people all the time.
Sure.
Don't send a Word document.
Send
Convert that into a
to
PDF.
PDF file. Right.
And now the Adobe software is reasonably expensive.
Right.
But you can download Qt, C-U-T-E,
Right.
PDF Writer. It's free.
Got it.
And it'll help you create a free PDF because a PDF can't be altered, carries no metadata. Your Word document, I would never think that any employer would maliciously alter your resume. But could it happen by accident?
Sure.
Absolutely it could.
Right.
Not on a PDF.
Right.
And when you send that Word doc, I can see when you created it, when you last updated it, who created it.
Yeah.
I can see whether or not you wrote your own resume.
Resume or not. Right.
You send me a PDF, all I have is that information about you, and that's really all that you want to get to
Great.
an employer.
Great. Well, John, believe it or not, our time is up. I want to thank you very much for helping us conquer some of the great digital divide, and I hope to have you back someday.
I would love to. Thank you so much.
Thank you for helping us. Thank you
Pleasure
for
has
helping
been
the
mine.
job hunters out there.